What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode 2. If you haven't seen episode 1, be sure to go check that one out first. And this series is basically about bringing Haas to the top, hopefully within 3-4 seasons, and maybe winning the Constructors. That's the goal. And hopefully the Drivers' title as well. And so in episode 2, we are racing in Imola. And you can see we're just working on our developments and trying to get everything in, trying to develop stuff as quickly as possible because, yeah, we are by far the slowest car on the grid. We're not even close to even Williams or Alfa Romeo. So we're trying to get these developments in thick and fast, not using too many resource points. And what I mean by that is not rushing everything so that they fail, and hopefully everything that we do comes in first time. But as you can see here, one has to fail. Of course it has to fail. There's a 30% failure chance, and at least 2 of them came in, but 1 did fail. So that's going to cost us more resource points, and we don't have enough just yet. So we're going to have to wait until a couple more weeks until we get those in, or until after the race. Get it in so then we can get it going again before Monaco. But you can see here we are still in last, closing in a little bit on Williams and Alfa Romeo, but we are still by far the slowest car in the grid. But the confidence booster here for me is that Imola is one of my favourite tracks on the game. I feel pretty strong around here, especially on 100 AI. I feel like I should be able to challenge for potential Q2, and that is the exciting part for me here. So going down into turn 2 and 3, we take this chicane, we brake a little earlier than we should have. We could have broke a little bit later, but going over that curve, you see we get a huge amount of oversteer, almost losing it and putting it in the wall, and that would have been us starting from P20, but we managed to catch it, lose a bit of time in the process. And the thing about in this Haas car is you have to have a perfect lap. If you don't have a perfect lap, no chance you're making it out of Q2, and you're likely going to start on the back row of the grid. So you see as we cross the line there, it's P17, which isn't awful, but I know there was a lot more time in that. Five tenths ahead of our teammate, as expected. Mazepin is not doing very well at all this season, so I feel like we're always going to be faster than him, just because it's not really that challenging of a teammate, I think, as we all know. But after the first lap, it was a decent enough banker, P17, but I really do think we can get in to Q2, and you saw there, I broke a little early going into turn 2 and 3, losing a 10th, but gaining it right back at that corner where I got a low oversteer at. So we are about a 10th up, going into the hairpin. We're going to brake as late as possible, try and get it tight on the exit, and it was actually a pretty good hairpin, and you can see on the exit we're gaining more and more time, so we're almost 2 tenths up on our time, and we're going to need to find at least half a second to stand a chance of going through the Q2. You can see we went a little bit wide there, but we're still gaining time as we're going around, and it's because of the track evolution. But more and more time being gained, and you can see around that corner we are a lot braver, risking the rear end slipping away from us. But coming into the chicane, we're 4 tenths up. We're trying to push as much as possible, and you can see we just lose the rear end, a huge snap, and yeah, that's the lap done. Pretty much. We're going to push it, see if we can find anything in these last 2 corners. You can see I'm braking as late as possible, but I go off into the gravel, and that is lap over, and I'm going to come into the pits after that. So a bit of a disappointing qualifying, as I think this circuit was probably my best chance to get Q2 in. And you can see I'm less than 6 tenths away from Q2, and I was up 4 tenths on my time. And it wasn't even a perfect lap. I felt I could have been up even more because my first sector wasn't the greatest, but I was still up 4 tenths. So a little disappointing as Q2 was definitely on the cards. Maybe even P13, P14, which would have given us a better chance at points, whereas P18, we're going to have to try and mix it up a bit with our strategy.
Hello there and welcome back to Imola, home circuit of the Scuderia Ferrari. We expect to see a lot of local supporters in red today. They've all turned out for what we have every expectation of being a sensational event here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Bottas, Lando Norris and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Sainz, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly. Ocon, Tsunoda, Lance Stroll and Vettel, Raikkonen, Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi and Stevens, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So here we are, ready for the race in Imola. I feel confident. This is one of my favourite tracks. Probably up there with one of my best tracks as well, speed-wise. But racing this track, especially for the 42 minutes that I'm going to, is probably one of my favourites on the whole calendar. It's just so many turns. I don't know. It just flows so well around this track, and I love it. But with the strategy, we're going to start on the mediums, and we're going to have to try something different. When you're starting so far back and your car is one of the slowest on the grid, you have to try something different. So we're going to go on the mediums and we're going to try and push them for as long as possible. And the idea is, hopefully, we can get a safety car or something and then put on the softs. And who knows, maybe we even get a point or sneak into the points. But we need something to happen, like safety cars or cars crashing to give us a chance, because the car is just nowhere near fast enough to get us up there on speed alone. But here we are, 5 red lights, and can we get a good start with 5 red lights in Imola? And away we go. We get a decent start, better one than Giovinazzi on the inside. So we're going to come across, see if we can close the door on him down the inside. But I think his wing is just there, so we're going to have to stick it around the outside. So we're staying around the outside, and you can see down the inside, Latifi makes it 3 wide, and I think there's a spinner up ahead, and it's caused carnage, and we're going to go around the outside. We're going to have to go onto the grass, but we get through with no wing damage. A safety car has come out, and we are into P10. P10 after a few corners. What a start for us. Absolute carnage up ahead. We're going to see, I think from the Aston Martin's point of view, I think it's the cars ahead that spun out. It was either Ferrari or the AlphaTauri. So we're going to have a look ahead, and you can see it's the Ferrari that spins out first, and then the AlphaTauri. I think the AlphaTauri gets spooked by the Ferrari, and it collects about 5, 6, 7 cars. So the Ferrari, he comes around the outside, makes a bit of contact with the Alpine, which forces him over the yellow curbs, and then he tries to correct it, but he can't, and he's gone spinning, taking the wing off one AlphaTauri. The other AlphaTauri behind him's crashed. He's into the gravel, and 5 or 6 cars have piled up, and we've gone through, and now we're into P9 because the AlphaTauri that lost its wing had to pit. And what a start this is for us. We're I think first of the medium runners. I think maybe Hamilton and Verstappen up ahead are on the mediums as well, but of these cars back here, we're in P9 already, and the cars behind us are on the softs. We're going to try our best to defend against them. You can see using all our ERS, getting the inside line on Lance Stroll, but we're going to stay ahead of him for the time being. And after 4 laps, we're P9 and couldn't have asked for a better start. And at this point, points is definitely on my mind, because we've never been this high up. And it's very unlikely we'll be this high up ever again. But eventually, after a couple of laps, Lance Stroll gets ahead of us and he's going to start to pull away. And now we've got to defend against Sebastian Vettel, the other Aston Martin, coming around. You can see I went a little wide, allowing him the chance to go around the outside. And on those soft tyres, he's got more grip around the outside. And we're going to try and keep it up the inside, because it is pivotal that we keep at least one of these Aston Martins behind us, because we're now in P11, but coming around the outside, we're going to try and hold on to P10, and we get it done, and we stay ahead of the Aston Martin. And that's frustrating for him, as he's going to try and come up around the outside again, but we are still going to defend, going into the chicane. This is not an overtaking spot, but he tries it around the outside. He's gone over the yellow curves. I think he clips our back wheel even. But we have to defend aggressively, and we cannot let these cars past, as we're still holding on to P10 on these medium tyres. I think we lost about 2.5 seconds to Lance Stroll ahead, just defending from Sebastian Vettel. So you can see how much we are defending and how slow we are compared to the rest of the cars on the softs ahead. But going on to lap 14, we are racing as well as possible, and we're still in P9. Granted, a lot of pit stops have happened, but we're racing as well as we can and doing the best we can. And you can see the Ferrari and Alpine behind us are closing in, but there's an Alpine that's spun up ahead, and we have to just avoid him. I mean, luckily I saw him before I turned, because otherwise I would have been out this race or lost a wing or something. But you can see Ocon is retired, and so is Fernando Alonso, his teammate. I don't know what's happened there. So I think it's Ocon that spins around and he's stuck on the track, and we're on board with Esteban Ocon now, seeing what happened. Makes a bit of contact with the Red Bull, goes over the yellow curves and makes contact with him again, and here we come. We narrowly avoid him, so does the Ferrari, but the Alpine of Alonso just goes straight into him, and that's both Alpines out of the race. And here comes the Aston Martin, who just goes into both of them as well. So I don't know what that's all about, but wow, that's 2 Alpines out of the race, and that's two cars that will be fighting for points, so that's giving us more of a chance. So we're going to come in, we're going to take advantage of this safety car, which is going to be a shorter pit stop on lap 16, and we're going to make the bold decision of going onto the soft tyres. And my thought process behind this is, on the hard tyres, I feel like we'll just get eaten up by these cars, so we're going to come onto the softs and we're going to use them as well as possible, and towards the end of the race we're just going to, we'll struggle but we'll defend for our lives. So coming out the pits, where are we going to come out? Are we going to come out behind the 2 Alfa Romeos? Yes we are. Can we get ahead of the Williams driver, of George Russell? We do. So we are still in P10 after the safety car on these softs, behind 2 Alfa Romeos on the hard tyres. Which means if we can get past these 2 Alfa Romeos as quick as possible, then we're going to have some clear air, because the front 7 are going to pull away from us easily. So we're going to have some clear air, so we can pull away from these 2 Alfa Romeos on the soft tyres, because we're going to have a lot more grip and a lot more pace. And here we go, green flag conditions. We're behind Giovinazzi, we're using all our ERS, but you can see we just don't have the straight line speed to be able to get close enough. But are we going to send one down the inside? Yes we are. We go late on the brakes, and what a move that is, down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. And now it's important we get past Kimi Räikkönen as soon as possible. If we can get past him within this first lap, then we can begin to pull away. We're coming around these 2 corners. We see, is there a chance down the inside? I don't know if there is, but we're going to go for it. We're going to go down the inside of Kimi Räikkönen, and we bump wheels a little bit, make a bit of contact, but we get through. Questionable, but it was very aggressive, that move, and he's still coming around the outside of us. We're braking a bit too early into these corners. We're still not sure where we can brake on these tyres with the fuel load, but we get the move done on Kimi, and we are up to P8 in the Haas. We are up to P8, 19 laps in. We have 13 laps, and we're in P8 in this car. We're the slowest car on the grid, and somehow we are currently in points positions for 4 points, and you can see the Ferrari and the Alfa Romeo ahead, and the Alfa Romeo has spun. It's another spin, and there's a 4-car, 5-car pile-up. The Williams, I think, gets out with no damage, but the other 4 cars, including our teammate, have got damage, and I think that might have been another safety car, and yes it was. So that gives us 3 laps behind the safety car to save our soft tyres, and we're still in P8. And I can't believe our luck right now. We've got 9 more laps to hold on. We've got fresher soft tyres than anybody else. So we're going to have a go at the AlphaTauri now. See if we can get up to P7, potentially 6 points. But the straight line speed just isn't there. Oh, we're going to have a go at him down the inside. Oh, we're close enough. No, we're not. We back out of it, and we think about it. And we realise we're in P8. Why risk losing P8? We're never going to be in this position again, so we've got to take these points while we can. This is 4 points in the bag, which would be absolutely crucial for the Haas, and we have to make sure we stay ahead of this Alfa Romeo. If we let the Alfa Romeo get ahead of us, then they'll have more points than us.
Looks like we're experiencing an ERS software glitch. The issue seems to be fixed, but we will keep monitoring it.
But you can hear there Jeff talking about a software glitch, and you can see at the bottom left we have no ERS. No ERS coming down this main straight, so coming down this main straight, we've got 2 cars behind us using ERS and DRS, and we've got nothing to deal with. So we're just going to have to use our engine power alone. We're going to cover off the Ferrari. We decided to cover off the Ferrari instead of the Alfa Romeo, because the Alfa Romeo will probably be the easier car to catch. We defend aggressively against the Ferrari. We stay ahead, but now we've got to make that move on Kimi Räikkönen happen all over again. So if that move was a bit too aggressive earlier, we're going to have to do it again anyway. And maybe if we could get close enough, we could do it in a cleaner way. And coming down on lap 26, we are half a second behind. We've pulled a bit from the Ferrari, who is fighting the Williams of George Russell behind, and we are half a second behind the Alfa Romeo Kimi Räikkönen. Can we get him this lap and go back into P8 for for 4 points in this race. And get ahead of the Alfa Romeo, which we're going to do. We're going to go round the outside. Can we brake later on the more grippier and the soft tyres? We do. What a move that is. Perfect braking point, and we get ahead of the Alfa, who's still behind us. It's not over yet. He's going to have another go at us. He's got the faster straight line speed. He's going to try and go down the inside of this fast left right hander, but he's not going to get it done. And coming down in a hairpin with 5 laps to go on the soft tyres, we are still in P8. We're still on course for 4 points in the standings, and you can see as every lap is going by, we're pulling a bigger gap away from Kimi Räikkönen, and he's out of our DRS range. We've done what we've needed to do, and we're going to use up all our ERS now to get away. But you can see here's the battle for third place. Valtteri Bottas is going to go around it outside of Lewis Hamilton. Can he make a stick? Oh, he's made contact with his teammate, and Valtteri Bottas is off and out of the race. Well, he's kept his engine running. He's into the gravel. But there you go. You see us going through. You see the Kimi Räikkönen. You see Sebastian Vettel and every other car. Even our teammate's going to overtake the Mercedes driver. So that is P7 for us now, with 4 laps to go, and then the final lap, coming on to the final lap, we're in P7. We're on course to get 6 points in the slowest car on the grid. This is going to be quite something sensational, but we've got the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel hounding us down, breathing down our necks, and he's got DRS this lap as well. We're using all our ERS to give ourselves as much gap as possible, but with the DRS and the faster car on the better tyres, Sebastian Vettel is going to be all over us, especially on the second half of this final lap. We're pushing as much as we can. We're going to take around this whole lap. Coming down this left right hander, we're trying to keep 5 tenths from him. We let him get any closer, he's going to sniff an opportunity to send one down the inside or go around the outside and try and make a move happen on this final lap. We've got 5 tenths on him, but you see the speed of the Aston Martin. That's already down to 4 tenths, and now it's down to 3 tenths, and it's almost 2 tenths coming into these corners. We're going into the downhill section of Imola, and he is less than 3 tenths behind us. He's breathing down our necks, and coming up, we need a good exit here on these soft tyres. We go brave, and we do get a good exit using all our ERS. He's going to try and go around the outside. We defend well into the chicane. He doesn't see the opportunity. Coming out, can we get a better exit? We do. Sebastian Vettel loses the rear end a bit, and I think right now we're thinking, we've got this covered. We've got P7. He's not going to have a chance to have another go at us. And coming around the last couple of corners, we just keep it on the track. And there is 6 points coming to Haas. And it is going to be 6 points coming to Haas as we defend from Sebastian Vettel and hold on to P7 in only our second race of the career. Absolutely unbelievable drive. Yes, there was a lot of luck in that race, but we perfected it and got the best out of it. And that is sensational. With the slowest car on the grid, we've managed to get P7. P7 in Haas, in Imola. What a race. What a race.
Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So there we have it. After a crazy race in Imola, multiple safety cars coming out, we managed to get P7 from P18 on the grid and perfecting our strategy. What a result for Haas. That's going to be 6 points. Our teammate gets P14, which is good for him. Not a bad race at all, but you see 4 DNFs, which has helped us along the way. Ferrari, 2 Alpines and an AlphaTauri, and also wing damage to the Aston Martins and the Alfa Romeo and the Williams has helped us and get to the position that we were in. And we need crazy races like that to get points, and we need to capitalize it, and we did today, which was fantastic for us. And going on to the Drivers' Championship, here you can see that we are into P9. P9 in the Drivers' Championship. We might even go for the title at this point. But up in the first and second, you see the two Red Bull boys running away with it already in the fastest car. Hamilton and Bottas struggling a bit with the McLaren up there, and P2 in the Constructors. And you can see we're P6 in the Constructors with 6 points. Every team has got a point after 2 races, which is pretty crazy. Williams and Alfa Romeo down on 1 and 2 points, which might be enough, honestly, to beat them this season. But we're going to keep pushing, keep trying to get more points, and see what we can do for the rest of the season. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.